This is Ben. Starting a new channel called Boys Customs. It's not that I do anybody else's work. I do all my own work and I fund my own stuff. But I've been thinking about doing this channel for a while now. However, I had some health issues, had some other issues where I just decided that, well, I had to put my projects, my vehicles on hold. I've been working on cars since I was about 12 or 14. Doesn't make me a mechanic. I'm not a mechanic, nor do I know how to do everything correct. I do things the way that I figure out how to do it, and I problem solve a lot, and I try to figure these things out. But I thought I would show you guys some of the things that I'm working on and some of the projects that I have. And if you're interested, go ahead and give me a follow. I'd really appreciate it. I'm just going to start doing this for myself. Little background behind me: I grew up in British Columbia, Canada. I now live in Utah. And this is my shop, my garage that I had to sacrifice quite a bit to get. No, there's no heat. Electricity is pending. Try to explain as much as I can about some of the projects. I'll start with my longest running project, which you can see bits and pieces of it back here. It's a 1967 Chevy C10, and I'll get right to showing it to you guys right now. And I'll show you where I'm at and then try to explain it as best I can. Thanks. This is my 1967 Chevrolet. I guess it's not technically a C10. I know you see the six lugs down here on the wheels, and you think, oh, that's definitely a C10. Well, this started out life as a C20. I bought it from a family who bought it brand new in 1967. Grandfathers then passed on down, and then the guy at work wanted to get rid of it. As you can see, it's pretty good, got some pretty good patina going on. I'm missing a fender on the passenger side because I'm doing some sheet metal work on the cab. So here we are. This is the original bumper, original front grille. Nothing done but cleaned up with some barkeeper's friend. Over here, not original fender, not original door. Original fender was smashed in. Original door was smashed in because the stopper on the hinge broke. And I got some original GM sheet metal off of some parts trucks and have tried to match some of the patina. Now, why is it 6 lug? Yeah, that's right. We needed to address that. So it is 6 lug because I had another 67 Chevrolet C10 with a 283 long bed that I stole all of the half-ton running gear out of and spent some time really looking at and really trying to figure out things to where I could get all this half-ton stuff on the 3/4 ton frame. So that is the original 3/4 ton chassis. However, I have some CPP disc brake, 2.5-inch drop spindles on here that were used off of a 66 Chevy C10 chassis that I bought for cheap several years ago. Let's walk you down here to the back of the truck. Have this gantry crane in the way and some other stuff in the way, and you know how shops get. They get to become a mess really quickly. So that's the half-ton rear end right there. 373 gears, nothing special, no posi, no nothing, which should change here in the future. Small back window, original paint on the cab. I am going to be cleaning up the interior and repainting it. It's been kind of here and there for many years. Some of you guys that are a little wiser will notice this right here. That's a seam. This truck has been shortened. It's also been notched. It's also been tubbed. The bedsides have been shortened. They're original GM to the truck sheet metal. Everything is pretty original GM. This floor is original to the bed. Like I said, this is an original paint cab. There's a little bit of welding that I had to do on some of the inner panels, and I'm going to have to touch that up. But that is the original cab corner right there. There's a small hole you can see. And then I replaced the rocker panels on this truck. And we'll pop the door open. You guys can take a look. Okay, so if you'll note, this is a 72 Chevy door. It's off of a 72 Chevy truck. Both doors that I have for the cab are matching off of the same truck, 72 Chevy truck. There's a rocker panel for the other side, and you can see that it's all cut up and ready to be replaced. This side has been replaced. And I did it some time ago now, but it was a big job, and you can't see it very well because there's not much light here. But that's a rocker panel that I bought from GMC Paul's. He seems to try to carry some of the best equipment that you can get, or the best replacement panels. I am going to have to address that small hole there. But this is primered, it's all done, it's been treated on the inside. I still have to do seam sealer on it. But this is basically how the truck is going to look. I just kind of, I took some, a cut off piece of my original bed and the paint, and now the match was pretty good, but not perfect to match all the sun faded everywhere. So this truck had a pretty close green color, and I sprayed over it and tried to make it look like what it did earlier. So it's been stripped right down. I'm gonna patch up the firewall. Hopefully one day I'll be able to afford some vintage air or something for it. I'd love to do that, but there's the patch panels. Those patch panels are from Tinworks Fabrication. He does some fantastic work. Really nice stuff. So you can see I have it braced up here, and I've got to replace, and been working on getting the inner rocker panel ready, and that part of the floor. This side was not as extensive as the other side. The other side had a lot of rust on it. But once I get it done, it should fit pretty well, just like the other side. It takes a lot of time, takes a lot of patience, and you have to sit there and remount your door and take it off and put it on and take it off and put it on and check things. And this is really important right here. This I put here because on the other side I didn't quite have enough bracing, and it took a lot of time to sit there and pull it apart and re-weld it and reset it. So I actually put this bracing in over to the floor also. If you don't take the time to do this right, then nothing will fit right, and then you'll be cussing. You'll be cussing up a storm. This is also original cab corner. All this stuff, it's, you know, you can see, might need a little bit of welding or something. I need to get a light under here so you guys can see it. It's been lowered in the back. Like I said, it's been tubbed, and you can see where I cut and welded and fabricated some holes and tried to fix things up, and maybe I'll get a video for you guys so that you can see. I have a Classic Performance gas tank in here, and those notches are from Classic Performance. Also, the spring from Classic Performance, 5-inch drop spring on the back here to get it as low as it is. And in all reality, it's not that low. I'd like it to be lower. Bed floor gas cap, a bit of fabrication here, took some work. had to roll the steel. This gas cap is from Tanks Inc., and it's a little bit more money than the ones that you buy on eBay that look the same as this, but I think it's well worth it. It's not bolted down yet because it's a full aluminum cap. The other ones on eBay had plastic in them. Anyway, just a quick little reference there. Back brace from Tinworks Fabrication. Really like that guy. He does some swell work. Swell, yeah. You can see the seam where I welded the back of the bed floor and the front of the bed floor. Okay, what do we have here? We have 72 Chevy passenger door, original sheet metal. We have a 67 original sheet metal, original to this truck fender, and original also to the truck, original paint front brace. I don't know what you guys want to call it. And then original cowl panel, and those are the original bed sides, however painted and patinaed. I guess I wish I could have made a video about that. This is the original, I think this is a 503C paint color. In 72, you all know that they made one little modification to the door. Well, once you put one door on one side of a 67, and then you've got to put the other door on the other side so that they match, you know, because I'm picky about that. The door behind it will probably go up for sale. It's in fantastic condition. If any of you are interested, coming to pick it up. It's in Utah. Original sheet metal. Probably in better shape than the 72 door right there that I'm putting on it. But, you know, you kind of find what you get and get what you find and make the best of it. At some point I'll be putting this bed back together after I paint the underside of it. I had all the fabrication work to do and all the welding and stuff. And at some point we'll be slapping the bedsides on here, and you guys will be able to join along and see what happens there. Okay, so I said that this bed floor was tubbed and that the inner fenders are also tubbed. I believe they're 6 inches wider than stock. It's been a little while since I did this. There's the other one laying on the floor. These were original to the truck, and then I had some old ones off my old 67 that I talked about before that is long gone now. I kept the inner fenders off of that just so that I could someday tub these inner fenders. And I'll pop some pictures in here so that you guys can see what it looked like before and kind of the process. I've got a few pictures of the process and how it kind of went, how I went about putting these together and welding them up. Basically, I cut the inside off of the original one, and I cut the outside off of the old ones that I had, and then I welded them together and made a seam right there, and then just did a little bit of body working and some touch-up paint and some patinaing. Patinaing, is that the right term for that? I don't know. So I pointed out earlier that I've got a CPP tank. Is there a tank in the bed? There's not a tank in the bed. I only bought just a piece right there, just I think it was off tanksinc.com. Anyway, no tank in here, tank delete, but when you're talking about an original patina paint, I didn't want to get into trying to weld up a new piece on there and straighten it all out and fill it and paint it, when I thought that's going to make it look really cool, is that it still looks like it has the original gas cap on it. So yeah. Also, I'm not a certified welder. I've been welding since I lived in Canada, and I lived with my parents, and I picked up welding from my dad. He's a fantastic welder, and a millwright. Those of you who are in Canada know what a millwright is. Those of you who are in the States, very few of you know. Anyway, yeah, the most important thing. Probably wondering what in the world is in this power plant or in this truck. Well, that right there is a 6-liter LQ4 out of a 2004 GMC 2500 Savannah. And I'll never pull another engine out of a van because that sucked. Unless you're just hacking it apart and you don't care about parts or selling it for parts or whatever, then you just hack it up and you junk it. The van was cheap. I'm not 100% sure about the transmission and its condition. I was told that it was rebuilt. It is a 4L80E transmission. The engine had 134,000 miles on it. I actually drove the van around my block a few times with my son in the vehicle a couple times. One of my sons. Yeah. The mounts are the motor mounts that I got. I didn't fabricate them. They are from Tinworks Fabrication. Again, guy does phenomenal and good priced stuff. You can't see it from the cast header there. Cast header is actually from Classic Performance Products again. I think they do good work. And they sell some pretty good stuff. Some of their stuff is, I bought a steering column from them, and because this is going automatic obviously, so I wanted the column shift. And I bought a steering column from them. It didn't line up. It ground. You put the steering wheel on it. It was grinding. I had to return it. It was just one of those made in Chinese things. Ended up going with on a different route and found some original, albeit not tilt, but original column that I rebuilt and put together, automatic column that I put together. So yeah, I've had this truck for about 12 years, and I drove it for a little while as a 3/4 ton. It had 5.56 gears in the back, and they were locked up. It was a locked up rear end, so when you drove around the corner, you'd hear some squeaking or some chirping from the tires, and it only went about 50 miles an hour maximum with that old granny, or that SM 465 or whatever it was in there. I can't remember. Those are long gone. Those parts are long gone. It will be badged as a C10, and it'll be, it'll look just like a C10 short bed 2-wheel drive. So if you guys can't afford a short bed 2-wheel drive 67 to 72 Chevy pickup, which I couldn't and still probably can't, you can make what you want. This is going to be just a stock LS motor for now. If I can ever raise the funds to get it all done, because you know how it is when you have multiple projects going on. This is the longest one I've had here in the States. I had some previous projects when I lived in Canada as a teenager and stuff, but those are long gone, sadly. But this truck's never going anywhere. I guess I saw that 167 Chevy sell for $300,000 on, what was it, Mecum or Barrett Jackson. So I kind of joke, I'm like, this is a $300,000 truck and I won't accept any less for it. But no, it's just been around for too long to get rid of. And it's gonna be with me for probably the rest of my life, however long that may be. So original radiator support, playing with the idea. I cleaned it all up and painted it. I can't remember the paint I used. It was Rust-Oleum, I think, and it was their semi-gloss. Anyway, I didn't want a ton of shine, but I didn't want no shine. I wanted it to look good under the hood. However, it took forever for that paint. It was black lacquer, and it took forever for that paint to cure, and every time I rubbed something across here, it would just pick right off. And so I ended up buying some Eastwood stuff. The Eastwood stuff is not quite the sheen that I was really looking for, but probably a better product. Yeah, that's the best I can explain it there. You'll notice that it does have power steering. The 67 chassis never had a dent for the power steering. So I had to heat up the chassis in that spot, dent it in so that I could bolt on the power steering unit there. So it will have power steering. It will have disc brakes. I'm not sure if it'll be power disc brakes or not yet. Oh, you notice the red on the inside of the truck there, or the inside of the fender. That will change. That will change to the original color. This firewall is going to be spiffy and clean. And I don't know if that's the way you guys would do it, but it's my truck, so that's the way I'm going to do it. Also, the interior of the truck is going to be all new paint, and it's going to be really clean, all new interior. Although it's not going to be expensive interior. In fact, you guys may have seen down here the 89 to 94 Chevy C10 or C20 or whatever truck bench seat. I went ahead and got the bench seat. I already had the 60/40 split. Really nice ones that I paid a pretty good price for right here. I already had these, and I was going to put them in the truck, and I was really excited about them. But then you just start thinking, the classic C10, you've got to have a bench seat. So those are either going to go up for sale, or I'm going to hang on to them for some other project. My son wants a square body Chevy, kind of like my truck. You guys will see that later. I'll kind of point it out. It's a newer addition to the shop. And in fact, I sold a 54 Chevy with some great patina that just needed so much work, and I was just tired of working on vehicles constantly and never really enjoying them. You'll also see this car here at some point too, where I'll do a complete video and a walkthrough of that. Yeah, so since I wanted a bench seat, I found a bench seat, purchased it, and that's what's going to go in there. It'll probably be recovered at some point, but it's good enough to throw in there and drive around if I ever get this thing running. Anyway, if you guys have any questions about what I use as far as like welding and things like that, we'll get more into it when I do a video of this right here, which probably needs to happen pretty quick. I'm getting tired of this. It's been sitting there through the winter, and it's been so cold here in Utah that I just haven't been able to talk myself into coming out here and freezing after work. Yep, I work a 9 to 5, and any kind of money that I have to work overtime to put into my projects. But this is my passion. This is what I've been doing. Like I said, since I was about 14 years old, I guess. It was probably the first time I did a carb swap on our farm truck, which was a 75 square body Chevy, and ever since then I've been kind of hooked. Had a 69 Z28, yes, a real Z28 that I actually sold in the early 2000s when I moved to the States, and I've regretted it ever since. if you guys ever have another, or if you find a first-gen Camaro, I would like to make a deal on it, but it's got to be cheap. Can't be anything that I can't afford. Show you some of my tools, I guess, here. I bought this Miller spot welder. That makes a huge difference as far as replacing rocker panels and other panels and things like that. I have a cheap Jegs plasma cutter because it was cheap. And then that's on a Harbor Freight roller. The other tool that I have, took me quite a few years to upgrade, but I have an ESAB EMP215 IC. Now, this is a killer little welder, and it takes a lot of the guesswork out of welding. That's all I've done so far is wire feed. That's all I do. I just do MIG. If any of you guys are, pros at TIG, that's a good job. I really respect that, but I have not been able to TIG weld yet. I just have a CO2 tank, and that's all I use. It spatters a little bit, but it works pretty well, and it cleans up just fine after you're done welding. So one thing I suppose I should note is that I do have a transmission cross member down here. It's an old tubular one that I bought off of Classic Performance. Again, just because they make nice stuff, they have some quality stuff going on, and so I purchased that quite a few years ago when I was actually doing a manual transmission, new process transmission in there with a Hurst shifter on it. And once I found the LS motor, though, I decided that I was going to ditch the original 327. I know some of you guys are screaming, but I just want to be able to turn this on and drive it down to Arizona, go to car shows, drive it across the country, whatever. You name it, that's what I want to do with it. So one day when I get her done, that's what I'm going to do, is just drive the wheels off of it. Thanks for taking a look, guys. This is the first episode of Boys Customs Garage. I have an Instagram. It's Boys Customs. That's all it is. I share this stuff pretty regularly, although I'm not a pro at it. And like and follow, subscribe, please. I realize I haven't told you guys enough about timeline for this truck. Okay, I said I've had it for 12 years. It sat for a long time. Originally, when I was working on it, I decided I wanted to shorten it. No one was doing it. No one was doing it. Maybe like one guy had done one of these trucks on the 60, 70, 72 trucks, Chevy trucks forum. And I found that guy. I followed him on there, and I listened to everything that he had on there, and basically did just about the same thing that he did. Now, would I change some things? I would change some things. I would change where I cut on the bed. I think that it could be a lot easier as far as that goes, but I did take 12 inches out of the center between the front and the back of the cab. I did weld it up. I did do like a Z cut and then welded it up, and then I put fish plates on the inside, and I think it looks pretty good. Took a lot of time. On the back, I did cut the 8 inches off the back, and if ever I get done with this truck and this truck is done, I will be focusing on another truck, and I'm going to cut that truck down too, just because I like short beds. I don't have anything against long beds. I just like short beds, and I build what I like, and I build what I want, not what anybody else wants. So anyway, yeah, I did this long before Brothers Trucks or anybody else came out with a kit or anything. I did this a long time ago, and then, like I say, it sat for a while, and it didn't go anywhere for a long time, mostly because of health problems. And then when I could work on it, has been within the last 2 or 3 years here, and that's most of the progress that you see here now. Anyway, Boys Customs Garage, go ahead and give it a follow if you want to see more of this. I do have other projects, like I said. Nothing's going to be in order. Maybe I'll try to put them together in a pile if I make enough videos here. But like I said, I do this in the evenings and the weekends, and that's honestly my favorite thing to do, other than watch TV and YouTube videos just like you guys put on. So that's what inspired me. That's what I'm doing. Instagram account, Boys Customs, just like the name, Boys Customs. You guys can go on there and follow me, and you can see some of the progress, some of the things you didn't see in this video. You can see some of my other projects and other things that are going on. Yeah, I appreciate you guys watching, and let me know what you think. Unless you're going to be a jerk about it, then keep your opinions to yourself, and have a good one, eh? We'll see you.